Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah.
It's a book that's, definitely sparked a lot of debate over the years.
Oh, for sure.
And, that's okay. We're not here to tell you this is the gospel or this is
Yeah.
the right way to think about things. But we really want to kind of extract those golden nuggets, those aha moments
Way.
that you might find. And one of the biggest things
Yeah.
that Kiyosaki talks about is this idea that the one skill
Okay.
separating a lot of people from wealth is selling.
Yeah, it's interesting how he frames it. It's not about becoming some, slick car salesman or anything like that. It's really about this broader idea of persuasion communication, connecting with people.
It's like that story he tells about that journalist in Singapore
Oh, yeah.
who, was really talented but wanted to be a best-selling author, and she was so frustrated because
Right.
her writing was good,
Right.
but it wasn't really
It wasn't taking off.
taking off. Yeah.
And he pointed out this crucial detail. Her notes said best-selling author,
Right.
not best writing author. So he was highlighting that gap between creating something great
Totally.
and actually being able to sell it to convince people of its value.
That's such a good point. It really
Yeah.
makes you think, like, what skills are we missing that could help us reach our own goals?
Absolutely.
Like, sure, I can host a podcast, but could I sell a good idea? I don't know.
Right, exactly. And that's where that concept of working to learn comes in. It's about identifying those gaps and actively seeking out opportunities to grow, even if they're outside of our comfort zones.
Kiyosaki also pushes back against this idea of extreme specialization. He's a big believer in knowing a little about a lot.
Right.
He argues that being overly specialized can make you dependent on one particular industry.
Yeah, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Yeah.
If that industry takes a hit or your specific skills become obsolete, then what?
Totally.
You're left scrambling.
And he gives that example of the really talented mechanic.
Oh, yeah.
Who, might earn less than someone with just like basic mechanical skills, but a knack for business.
Right.
So it really makes you wonder if that laser focus on one area could actually backfire.
It's so interesting to think about, too, with how much the world is changing right now. Like, technology is evolving so rapidly. The jobs that are in demand today might not even exist in 5 years.
So how do we avoid falling into that trap?
Well, Kiyosaki really suggests that we should be constantly learning, expanding our skill set, becoming more adaptable.
Yeah.
It's all about investing in ourselves.
And he doesn't necessarily mean, going back to school and getting another degree.
Right.
He's talking about finding those opportunities to learn within your existing job, taking on new challenges, even working a second job.
Right.
Specifically for the learning experience.
I love that.
Creating a YouTube channel
Oh, yeah.
about something you're passionate about because you're forced to learn it inside and out, to be able to teach it effectively.
Totally. You're working to learn
Yeah.
while also potentially creating a valuable asset. Who knows? It might even open up some doors down the road.
So it seems like Kiyosaki's message here is that working to learn can make you better in every sense in your professional life, your personal life.
You're becoming a more well-rounded individual, a more capable person.
It's about embracing that growth mindset and seeing every experience as an opportunity to learn and grow, even if it's outside your current area of expertise.
I love that.
It sounds like his whole thing with working to learn is being really proactive, taking control of your own development.
It can take so many forms, too. Remember how his rich dad encouraged him to take on those diverse jobs, even if they weren't glamorous,
Right.
just to get that range of experience?
Yeah.
He was constantly seeking new challenges.
But let's be real, not everyone can just quit their job and join the Marines like he did.
Right.
To learn leadership skills.
He acknowledges that he's not advocating for reckless leaps. The key is to be strategic. Find ways to work to learn within your current situation.
Yeah.
It's about maximizing the learning potential of every experience.
So like instead of just viewing our jobs as a way to pay the bills,
Right.
we should be looking for ways to extract valuable knowledge and skills from them.
Yes, even if it's not our dream job,
Yeah.
there's always something to learn.
Totally.
Every job, even the ones we might not love, offers opportunities for growth. Maybe it's honing your communication skills by giving presentations,
Right.
improving your problem-solving abilities by tackling challenging projects, even stepping up to mentor a colleague, developing your leadership skills.
Kiyosaki even suggests considering a second job, not necessarily for the income,
Yeah.
but specifically for the learning potential.
Right.
He mentions network marketing as a good example.
It's interesting because network marketing really forces you to step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
You have to develop those sales and communication skills,
totally.
build relationships, handle rejection. It's a real-world crash course in persuasion.
It sounds like he's saying discomfort is often a sign that you're actually learning and growing.
For sure.
And it ties back to that fear of selling
Oh, yeah.
that so many people have.
Absolutely. He's adamant that sales and marketing are fundamental skills for success, no matter what field you're in.
Right.
He even argues that a lot of talented people struggle financially because they're brilliant at their craft,
Yeah.
but they don't know how to sell their talents or their ideas.
It's like that artist he talks about who inherited a bunch of money
Oh, yeah.
and poured it all into advertising, but did it so poorly that he ended up losing everything.
Classic case of someone being amazing at what they do, but lacking the skills to translate that into financial success.
Yeah. And Kiyosaki believes that fear of selling is a major roadblock for so many people.
Absolutely, because it requires putting yourself out there facing rejection,
Right.
and sometimes feeling uncomfortable, not exactly everyone's cup of tea.
No, it's not for everyone.
But he emphasizes that learning to sell is about more than just closing deals.
Okay.
It's about effective communication,
Yeah.
building relationships, understanding your audience, presenting your ideas in a way that connects with people.
So it's not about being pushy or aggressive. It's about learning to communicate effectively and persuasively.
Exactly. And that's something that anyone can learn with practice and the right mindset.
So how do we get better at those skills, especially if we're not naturally outgoing salespeople?
Well, for starters, he suggests taking on roles or jobs that force you to confront that fear.
Okay.
It could be a sales position, or even something like joining a public speaking group or volunteering to lead a project at work.
Like facing your fears head on and realizing
Yeah.
they're often not as scary as we make them out to be.
And he stresses the importance of being persistent. Not every pitch will be a home run. Rejection is part of the process, and it's about developing that resilience.
Yeah.
And seeing those no's as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
It's about developing a thick skin and realizing that the more you put yourself out there, the more comfortable you'll become with those inevitable rejections.
Exactly. It's like anything else, the more you practice, the better you get. And Kiyosaki himself had to overcome his own fear of selling. He wasn't a natural at it. But he recognized the importance of developing that skill.
You know, it's funny because we often think of sales as this very extroverted,
Yeah.
outgoing kind of thing.
The stereotypical salesperson, right?
Right, but what about those of us who are more introverted? Do we have to like change our personalities to be successful at it?
Not at all. There are plenty of introverted salespeople who excel because they focus on building genuine connections,
Okay.
listening carefully to their clients, and understanding their needs on a deeper level.
So it's about finding your own authentic style of communication and persuasion,
Exactly.
even if it's not that loud in your face approach that we typically associate with sales.
It's about leveraging your strength and finding ways to connect with people in a way that feels natural to you.
Kiyosaki seems to believe that this is the key to unlocking true financial freedom.
He's a firm believer that anyone, regardless of their background or current circumstances,
Yeah.
can develop the skills necessary to achieve their financial goals.
It's about taking control of our own financial future and not relying on a system that might not always have our best interests at heart.
And it's about recognizing that true wealth isn't just about accumulating money.
Right.
It's about using our resources and skills to make a positive impact on the world.
Which leads us to another important aspect of Kiyosaki's philosophy, the importance of giving back.
Yes, he's a big believer that true wealth encompasses more than just financial abundance.
Yeah.
It's about using your resources to make a positive impact on the world.
He contrasts his rich dad's approach to giving, which was always very generous,
Okay.
with his own father's belief that you would give when you had extra money.
When you have some extra.
Yeah. But of course, there never seemed to be any extra money.
Right, it's always later.
Right.
Kiyosaki argues that giving isn't just a moral imperative,
Yeah.
but it's actually a key principle for attracting wealth.
It's like that saying, the more you give, the more you receive.
Exactly. By sharing your time, your talents, your resources with others, you create this positive cycle of abundance that benefits everyone.
But how do we find the time and the resources to give back when we're already juggling work, family, personal commitments?
It doesn't have to be grand gestures or huge sums of money. Even small acts of kindness and generosity can make a difference.
Like volunteering at a local charity.
Right. Mentoring someone in your field or even simply donating to a cause you care about.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to integrate giving back into your daily life no matter how busy you are.
Make it a part of your routine.
Kiyosaki challenges us to see our skills and resources not just as a means to personal gain,
Right.
but as a way to contribute to something larger than ourselves.
It's about aligning our financial goals with our values
Yes.
and using our wealth to create a better world.
You know, this idea of giving back really resonates with me.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that our actions have a ripple effect on others.
And it's about finding fulfillment and purpose beyond material possessions.
And he challenges our ideas about job security, too.
Oh, yeah.
His rich dad believed that true security came from what you know,
Right.
not from clinging to a specific job title or company.
And especially in this day and age with technology changing everything so fast,
Yeah.
that's more relevant than ever. I mean, companies downsize entire industries can disappear.
Overnight. So instead of chasing that illusion of job security,
Right.
Kiyosaki says we should be investing in ourselves, constantly learning, becoming so adaptable that we're valuable in any situation.
It's like job security becomes people security.
Right. Your skills are what keep you afloat.
Exactly. And he makes this point about over-specialization.
Yes.
That really stuck with me. He says it can actually become a trap.
Oh, yeah.
Because you become so reliant on one specific industry or skill set that you're vulnerable if things change.
So going back to that knowing a little about a lot idea,
Yeah.
it's like diversifying your skill set the way you might diversify your investments.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, you're spreading the risk,
Right.
making yourself more adaptable.
It's about constantly evolving, being open to new opportunities, and never being afraid to step outside of your comfort zone.
Which reminds me of that story he tells about quitting his secure job at Standard Oil
Oh, yeah, to join the Marines?
to join the Marines. That was a bold move.
Especially when he was already doing well.
Yeah.
It really speaks volumes about his commitment to personal growth. He knew that those leadership and management skills that he would gain in the Marines would be invaluable, no matter what he did in the future.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take a calculated risk and make a bold move to reach your goals.
For sure.
And it really shows that the best investment is often the one you make in yourself.
It's a powerful message. Don't be afraid to invest in your own development, even if it means taking a temporary step back or stepping outside of your comfort zone.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you're feeling stuck in that rat race or just looking for some fresh perspectives on money and success, I highly recommend checking out Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
You might not agree with everything,
Right.
but it will definitely get you thinking.
It's a thought-provoking book, for sure.
Remember, the journey to financial freedom isn't a sprint. It's a marathon.
It takes time, effort, and that willingness to constantly learn and grow.
But with the right mindset and those essential skills, it's a journey that's definitely worth taking.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.